Hello again. This is For Lack of Better Terms with my good friend Andrew, and I'm Jerry. We play in the band Nothing New. Uh, we're everywhere on social media and streaming services, and honestly, we have a new album coming out.
Yes.
September 13th, 2019 is when Sean comes out, and it's spelled Cean. The reason behind that, I guess if you want to go ahead and announce on this, might as well.
Calhoun County, that's where I live.
Etowah County, which is where I live, and in Alabama, because that's the counties that it's in. And the N stands for Nothing New. I love NOLA by Down, which just stands for New Orleans, Louisiana. But it's just one of my favorite albums, and I was just trying to figure out something that I could do like that. So when I found out that it was an actual word, and it has its own meaning, and you guys can look it up if you would like, I thought that it would be kind of cool to name it that. And it's actually pronounced Sean. So for all of our good buddies named Sean, there you go.
This one's for you.
Yes. Also, to announce, we were a part of a Black Sabbath tribute, and I need to pull this up so I can remember the name of the tribute here. So maybe we can figure this out real quickly. Here we go. Okay, it's called Children of the Sea, a Black Sabbath tribute. There's 10 bands on it. They did 10 songs. We did Children of the Grave on it. Most of the bands are from the South, like Tennessee, Kentucky area. I don't know if we're the only ones from Alabama. I'm not real sure. A friend of mine named Evan Bird was asked if, on Facebook to, a mass audience, if he was to put together a Black Sabbath tribute, would anybody be interested in it? And of course, we kind of jumped at the opportunity. Once I kind of found all the parts that I needed to record the song, we did it, and I think it came out pretty fucking amazing, actually.
It did, and this will be actually an introduction for those of y'all that pay attention to us. Bass in our music that will be an ongoing thing from here forward.
It's the first song that has bass guitar on it that we've recorded. The whole new album, the first EP, I didn't own a bass. He didn't own a bass, so we couldn't record bass. I bought one, or traded around really for one. I acquired a bass, and now we have it. So the album that we're working on now, the second album, it all has bass on it. We didn't really, bass to me has added I guess another element, to everything. So we didn't really do any breakdowns. The new album might have one or two on them now, because you get a nice raunchy bass sound. Man, it just fits a breakdown really good. So we were against breakdowns, and I might be letting a cat out of the bag. Maybe you guys will forget before then, but we have sort of breakdowns in our songs now. So, but anyway, I think the rest of the bands that are on the Black Sabbath tribute will be giving their CDs out at shows. This is the other thing that's kind of, like I said, kind of weird for us. We don't really do shows because it's just the two of us. I think we're going to upload our song, to all the streaming sites and things like that. We have to pay for some licensing and, because we didn't write it and whatnot. And everybody's got to get their cut of, the penny that we will make off of it. So that's going to happen. It should be out. I think once you upload, technical terms, we use DistroKid for our digital distribution. We own the label, we own the music. No one else does that. It takes about a month to hit there. So I'm gonna say month and a half. we'll be sharing our Black Sabbath song, Children of the Grave. Mainly because I think I'm just going to put it out as a single right now. We have talks of doing other things, so it may make its way to something else in the future. But for right now, I think we're just going to release it just so everybody can hear it. I'm not real sure if we can make it to our YouTube page, like do a video or anything like that for it. I'm trying because I know in DistroKid there's a YouTube music app that just does music, and then the actual YouTube video app that does everything. I don't really know if all that intermixes or not.
So in the comments below, if you can tell us how we can release this thing and not get sued, please tell us how to do that.
I mean, like I said, they're going to get their cut of the penny that we're going to make anyway. There's not a lot of money to be made in digital distribution, but it's an amazing way to get your music heard because somebody has Pandora or Spotify or iTunes or something of that nature, and they all listen to it. We'll throw, he's the magical video editor. We'll throw the album cover up too for Sean, and on the video here, I'm sure you can do that, right?
I think so. Yes.
So. And I'll get you the cover for the Black Sabbath tribute, so that way, and I'll try to tag the bands in it that are on it, so that way, you guys can all everybody can see, and everybody can go check out all the other bands because from what Evan has told me, everything's a banger on there. Like everything is really, 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 really good. So. For a bunch of people who that could be known, but might not be known in Alabama, or for us who might not be known in Kentucky or Tennessee or anything like that. We're just trying to help each other out, get our names out. Lots of conversation that's went on about it, and everybody's been really decent. And I know that we played in a bunch of bands, and she showed up to venues, and the band that we're playing with not be decent. So to have that conversation with 10 other, or 9 other bands, and it be decent, and like us, not 100% agreeing on everything, but trying to put the best foot forward for everybody to make this the best thing possible for everybody, that's been amazing. So big ups to everybody on that one. And we appreciate it. To continue on things that's happened, we sort of started talking about things that were happening in our lives. One of the things that's happened for you is that you got to go see Dark Funeral, correct?
Yes.
And who else was on? Immolation was on there?
I got the... Actually, I brought you a poster if you can help me.
Yeah. Incantation.
Belphegor actually headlined. I'm guessing that Dark Funeral and Belphegor shared the headliner, and they would swap maybe every town.
So Dark Funeral, Belphegor... Incantation, Hate,
Nightmare.
That's Nightmare, right?
Yes.
And then
Veil of Nath.
Nice.
It starts with a P, so I don't know. I'm guessing it's Nath. And also the local Kamikaze Zombie actually got to play.
Oh, wow.
They got to play that too for you people.
Great band. Yeah, great band. We saw them play with I Hate God. When we did that show. That great band.
But I got there. The parking kind of sucks. It was at the Zydeco in Birmingham. It was the first time I'd actually been to the Zydeco.
I actually love going to shows there. I haven't seen any shows there in a really long time. I have stories about the shows that I went and saw there, but I mean, it was Shadows Fall and the Bled was the last time I went and saw it. So neither one of those bands I think are even together anymore. So.
The parking kind of sucked, but then there was like a line set up outside, and it's this July or whatever it was, and in Alabama it was hot as balls out there waiting in the sun, and there was a gal or chick, I don't know how to sound politically correct, but chick behind me, and I was kind of started a conversation with her. It turns out she was from Egypt.
Oh, wow.
So not very often that you meet somebody from Egypt. She said she was a big Opeth fan, and her friend.
Great band.
She said she had driven from Atlanta, actually.
Oh, wow.
From what she said, and her friend who lives in, I guess, Birmingham, said, "Hey, you need to come to this show," and I guess he bought her a ticket.
Nice.
Also, I happened to notice, which is kind of funny too. Like, I don't know if there was a Zaxby's near there or something, but like some of the bands were like kind of in their street clothes because these guys, wear a lot of shit like on stage, like armor and all that stuff. And so, kind of see them in their street clothes as they're walking back and forth to get their Chick-fil-A or whatever the hell it was.
What kind of music, for the people who don't know? I mean, I know, but for the people out here in Videoland that don't know, what kind of music would you call Dark Funeral and Belphegor and
Dark Funeral are definitely black metal. Incantation, to me, although they have darker themes, I would call them death metal.
Okay.
Kamikaze Zombie, death metal.
Yeah.
Nightmare was kind of an avant-garde. I think they had two. I don't think they had a bass player. I think they had two guitar players.
Oh, wow.
Form of kind of blackened death metal. The Veil of Nath, they were kind of a blackened death metal too, and then Hate is a form of a death metal-y kind of black metal.
Lots of face paint, lots of corpse paint. Correct?
Right. Well, and that's what I was also going to talk about. Like when I'm waiting there in line, and this like convertible red Mustang drives by, and this kid, he's got kind of a normal just Joe Blow haircut, but he's got on corpse paint. It was like, it's not uncommon at shows like that to see people wearing corpse paint there, but he was literally the only like person out in the crowd wearing corpse paint, and I had to just imagine him in his convertible Mustang driving to the show with corpse paint as
wow,
like hitting the stoplight or whatever, turn around looking at people and things like that. It kind of reminds me of that meme of that guy wearing the corpse paint and the dog is in the car. For those of y'all that have seen that meme.
Maybe you should cut in on that and put the meme up. I mean, it's probably free use now as much as it's been. Maybe too, the Lords of Chaos movie, for you guys who don't know, that was about Euronymous and Varg Euronymous from Mayhem and Varg from Barzum. Maybe that threw in a little bit on that one. It kind of, to me, it's a really good movie. It's kind of an evil story to an extent, but it's it's the best they could have done in the sense of the term to make it watchable for like everyone. Like if you're into metal, and your significant other isn't, they could watch this movie and still enjoy it. That's the thing that I was like, and I want to say it's on Hulu right now.
I just got mine. Just came in. I just got it on DVD.
Yeah. So. But if you I don't even own it. I don't own a DVD player. I'm gonna have to borrow one to watch another movie that I've been wanting to watch. But if you don't, and you stream, it's on Hulu. It's an excellent movie. It's to explain, the not the beginnings, but I guess the beginnings of what you would call black metal for the most part. I know there were bands well before that, but this is the at least for popular, because you're talking about like bands like even Behemoth and, Emperor and, all that all came from this same scene that happened, even though they're might not be as ingrained and crazy as some of the story that happened. But anyway, all that, I actually figured there'd be more kids in corpse paint. I guess corpse paint is kind of hard to come by in Alabama in July, like Halloween. We're talking about being in the Bible Belt South, like, unless there's like costume shops that would have it, handy and ready, or I guess you could Amazon it to here, but like Walmart just doesn't carry that kind of stuff. They don't have they don't have a black metal section at the Walmart here, so.
I wanted to talk about, like you said, you'd been to many Zydeco shows. I was not super impressed. They have, I don't know, kind of a courtyard area, and then you walk up this stair, like this is the courtyard here, and they have a bar over here and stuff, and kind of some seating. First of all, it would really suck if it was raining. Like a show there would not work if it was raining, honestly. But anyway, like, you know, you walk up the staircase here, and then, you know, you walk into the actual where the band's playing stuff. It's not a huge place. Got a bar over on the left. But I didn't really care for how it's like a drop. I guess you call that a drop ceiling with the tiles, you know, that you can push up and all that. I think it had like a drop ceiling in there, and just it was like there was this much space that the whoever's on stage is kind of looking directly at. That's kind of where the ceiling drops right in front of the stage, and it felt cut off up there to me. And you said the Shadows Fall guy with his dreadlocks was like slapping that off the off that ceiling.
It just hit me. It just hit me. We saw Norma Jean and let's see, a band called 68 that was the old lead singer from Norma Jean. And like 6 other bands. I don't know. It's just like one of those like punk rock metal shows. Play there too. I don't hate the Zydeco. The Zydeco could do, at least at the times that I've seen them, they could do a little better with their sound. But I think the room kills that.
The sound was really good. The sound was good. There was a few times like when they come in, like the vocals were a little low, but they got it corrected pretty quick. But
yeah. My thing with the Zydeco is that it's upstairs, really. So there's a downstairs. So for any of you guys that live in the South that has been to shows at the Masquerade, the old Masquerade, not the new one, but the old Masquerade, it was in a warehouse, and there was Heaven, which was upstairs where the band played, and Hell, which is where they did raves. And then there was like a Purgatory that was a bar. And it was supposed to be the little quiet, but I mean, it was a dump. The place was a dump. I mean, just being honest. But it was the most amazing dump in the world because I saw tons of band there. But if everyone was jumping up and down, the floor moved. And I kind of imagine the Zydeco being the same way. It's like, I don't know, Birmingham's version of the Masquerade, and to an extent. So that's what I akin it to. So the things that I didn't like about the Masquerade, I don't like about the Zydeco. But, you know, honestly, They do really good shows at Zydeco.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't it's just a small gripe. It was just the way the stage is versus the ceiling. I know it sounds like a small thing, but it was really kind of sort of off-putting to me.
I'm 6'2". How tall are you?
6'4", 5-ish. Okay.
So, you know, jumping on stage and being that tall, like you're probably you could probably jump up and knock one of those things out. You know what I mean? Or knock lights out. You know, you think about that stuff when, you know, you're a musician and it's tall, you know, and things like that. But like I said, the Zydeco brings really good shows to Birmingham, and that's awesome because for living where I live, driving to Atlanta is like a 2-hour ride. Then it's the time difference, which actually technically works to our favor. But you drive 2 hours out, you do go to a show, and then you drive 2 hours home. Sometimes not the funnest thing in the world. You know, throw 5 or 6 beers in that, you know, things like that. Sometimes it's not the funnest.
I gotta be at work in the morning.
Yeah, you gotta be at work the next morning, and, you know, early. It's just sometimes it's not the funnest. But they're like the new High on Fire and Power Trip are coming to Atlanta. There's a small chance that I'm probably gonna want to go do that. You know, we'll just drive it out and I'll just suffer the next day, you know, just to be able to say I saw it, you know. Anyway, any other good stories from, you know, like any of the bands that you didn't think?
I just thought another thing that I caught, and I should have known this. I mean, Dark Funeral and Belphegor and something, they wear like armor and shit. They look like it's like leather and metal, and like they look like they came out of Lord of the Rings and shit. I just have to wonder where they have this stuff made. Is there
is there like
a leathersmith?
Yeah, is there an online store that you can be like,
okay, can you get me some black metal armor, please? Like,
I'm sure it's all custom made stuff.
And they're in Alabama. I mean, it was sort of air conditioned in there, but not a lot.
Well,
I'm sure they were sweating their asses off in that shit.
I'm gonna say that place holds anywhere from 300 to 500 people. So you put 300 to 500 smelly, sweaty people.
Yes, there was a few people walking by me at times. It's like, poof, man, dude, get those pits, man. Or you need to slap some deodorant on there or something. It was strong.
We are going to see Baroness like next Wednesday for what this is. That would be July 31st. They're going to play at the Saturn at Birmingham too, which is a super awesome venue also. It's a space themed kind of bar. Got like everything's painted like rocket ships, and they have awesome T-shirts for Saturn that I might actually come home with one. Anyway, I imagine if Baroness is half as packed as, which the venue at Saturn is bigger, and I think it holds probably the same amount of people, but the same amount of people in Saturn doesn't feel like the same amount of people as it would in Zydeco. The venue's just bigger. They probably could hold more. I just don't. I think they do it for other reasons. Anyway, it's super air conditioned, super, but I bet it's going to be equally. It's just freaking July and August in Alabama. So if you guys don't know, it's just like hot. Like it's 90 something degrees outside with like 100% humidity. It's like pretty much, they say it's air you can wear. And you walk outside and you're drenched already. So just imagine, being in a hot venue wearing probably half an inch thick paint on your face and then all that metal and armor. You just got to give it to those guys. I will say something though that impressed me. Years ago, I used to go to all the Ozfest. I did a radio show back in the day, and I used to get free tickets to all the Ozfest. And I saw Cradle of Filth play in Ozfest, and this is in Atlanta. Like, it's always around July 4th, so but they came out full leather, full paint, full everything, like pretty much from, your wrist to your ankles. And then they wore big boots and played their set. And it's an Ozfest set. So they were the headliners. So I think they got for the second stage, they got 45 minutes, and I think everybody else got like 30 minutes. And they did the rotating stage so they could just rotate, throw amps up, do a little bit of sound check and go. They had a woman with them that was in full like Victorian garb, and she sang all the really operatic parts of the Cradle of Filth. And I was like, how the fuck are you guys not fucking passing out? Because they'll only let us bring gallon jugs of water, and then everything else you had to buy in the venue. It was in like an outside venue. And there was no cover, no nothing. It was it was a Hi-Fi Buys amphitheater back then. I don't know what it's called now. Anyway, I was like, oh my God, like, how the fuck do you guys not pass out? Like, how do you even get out of this clothes? Because leather like shrinks when it's wet. So like, how do you not die?
You gotta suffer for your art.
And that's a lot of stuff. And I was, look, I never listened to Cradle of Filth before then. I don't know. I just never gave him a chance. After that, I had so much respect for him that's when I started listening to him, really. And, I can't, the couple of albums that came out around that time's really all that I ever listened to. But I ain't got nothing but respect for him now. Because even like going and watching like Hatebreed and stuff that was on the second stage, those guys would like walk out normal, and then when they got done, their shirts were like, it like poured water over themselves. So imagine being in fucking all leather and, and the other thing that no one really brings up in all this, even though that I'm really cutting into like a lot of our time here, all those dudes have like super long hair. They're not bald headed like we are, and so anybody that knows that you've got super long, thick black hair just makes everything that much worse to me. So big ups to the, all the long-haired black metal dudes, because fuck.
Here's to you black metal guys and all that you do.
Yeah. So, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, we're going to call this one a day. You guys have a good one. Good night.
Good night.